Welcome to the What Type of Food Processing Facility is Right for You series. Prepared and presented by Manitoba Agriculture's Value Added Branch. There are 6 short videos in this series featuring food processors and service providers. These videos are aimed at helping food processors understand the options and variables involved in choosing a food processing facility.
Hello, I'm Peter Fair from Gourmet Inspirations. We're based out of Steinbach, Manitoba. And for those of you that don't know, that's about 45 minutes southeast of Winnipeg. So I'm the owner of Gourmet Inspirations. I'm going to talk a little bit about my products today, a bit about my story, and how I set up my own facility here, and also about my co-packing services that I offer. And so, I'll just explain my products a little bit. I started the business in 2013, and when I launched the business, I had 4 sauces that I launched with. And today we have 2 of them we still have out of those 4. So I started with a creamy peppercorn whiskey, and the sweet and spicy lemon, and then I had a strawberry balsamic and a chocolate port that I started with as well. And those other 2 flavors didn't perform well, so we got rid of those and then just added some other flavors. And so today we have 6 different sauces, 3 savory. So we got the sweet and spicy lemon, the Canadian maple bourbon barbecue, a creamy peppercorn whiskey steak sauce. So those are more for savory cooking. And then we got 3 dessert sauces. So we have a peach Riesling, the Prairie Berry dessert, and then a salted caramel whiskey. So all kind of for cheesecake and ice cream, or you can use them at brunch on French toast and pancakes. And then about 1.5 years ago, I launched a line of rubs as well. So we have 6 different rubs here, rubs and seasonings. So all kinds of different flavors. We got a Land and Sea, which is lemon dale. We got a garlic, veggie fusion, which is great for garnishing vegetables. And then we got some different meat rubs as well. And then last Christmas, Christmas 2021, we brought out some syrups as well. So we have 3 coffee syrups that are also good for lattes and hot cocoa, and to add to milk steamers. So those are all of our products there. And so in 2013 when we launched, we started selling at farmers markets, and then slowly getting into retail, and then did a little bit of distribution. And so over time we've just grown those bases of selling channels. And then in the last year we also built out our e-commerce. So we're selling online now with some paid marketing efforts on Instagram and Facebook, and trying to move product online as well. So it's been a crazy year, like for many of you as well. But we're happy that the online is somewhat working and moving product, and we're getting new retailers coming on board on a weekly basis as well. So we're happy about that. And for production, when I first started, I rented a commercial kitchen, which was small, and then and there was many renters that rented, and then I moved to another commercial kitchen where I rented with just one other person, and that kitchen was actually even smaller. And my last commercial kitchen before I built my own was in Warren. And so the open kitchen there, they have a facility similar to this one where we have some filling equipment and a kettle, and where I made the sauces there. But it was a bit of a drive. I lived in Steinbach and then had to drive to Warren for production. It was just a lot of driving. So there came a time where I just needed more space and needed my own place. And so I built my own facility here. So we have close to 1,500 square feet, where we do receiving and shipping, as well as production, and doing all of our shipping of online orders. So it's all in one place now, and my office is here. So it's nice to just be under one roof instead of having to drive 3 hours a day and wasting time driving and whatever. So now it's just more efficient to be in one place. And so there just came a time where I needed to do that. It was a little bit of a leap of faith, where there's more capital cost to building your own. But the time was right, and it's been good so far. They always say in construction there's delays, and I was like, oh no, with my project things will probably go on time, but there were delays, so we were about 3 months behind. And so we were supposed to move in March of 2021, but we moved in about June. And I did most of the work myself. There were some contractors that built out the office and the bathroom, and I got someone to build the exhaust hood and did the install of the exhaust system, but I did all the backsplash stuff. I installed that myself, and then got a plumber to come in to do the sinks, and electricians to do the kettle. And then, we have a beautiful, you don't see it here now, but maybe in some of the B-roll footage, you'll see the floor, but it's an epoxy floor that I'm proud to say I poured myself. So it's a new skill that I learned, and we just took the bare concrete and grinded it down and then put an epoxy floor down, and it works well for us. So we're just happy to be here and making our sauces and rubs here. So that's enough about my business on one part of the business. So that's making my own products. And another part of the business that I do, and I haven't been super active in it yet, but I'm working on growing that part of it too, is co-packing. And how I got into that was there was 2 things that happened. I was actually looking for a co-packer for my own products and exploring what that would look like to get someone else to make my product for me. And while I was doing that, someone actually reached out to me to make their product for them. So kind of those two things happen. And when I was looking for a co-packer, I found that there were none in Manitoba that were suitable to me. And then when I went out of province, there were often bigger companies that had high minimums that I couldn't work with. So I didn't want to make 10,000 bottles at a time, and it was just too much for me to handle. And I couldn't take on that amount of production. And also, many of them don't do dairy, and I have dairy in 2 of my products, and so I needed a facility that would process dairy. And so then I decided that none of those co-packers were working out, so then I would just build out my own production facility and keep it all in-house. And then I figured with that, then I could offer some co-packing services to people that need it. And so I found there was a bit of a gap in the market, and I couldn't find someone that could co-pack what I needed, so I figured there might be a need for other people to use services like that in Manitoba. So I do offer co-packing services. We're fairly bare bones right now. We have, basic things we do. We sign a non-disclosure agreement and have a bit of a contract by email where we just kind of lay out our terms and process, and so you know what to expect of me and what I can expect of you. And so it's a fairly simple process that way. You're welcome to watch the production, but what we start with is I need the client to have the formula ready to go into production. So I don't do research and development, so I need the formula that's ready. I can do basic like pH testing, so I can do the testing of pH in-house to make sure that it works. And we only package in glass, so if you do plastic and whatever, we don't package in that. So we can measure pH in glass, and then we can bottle in glass bottles or jars. And then your label needs to be ready, and your nutrition information, you need the barcode, whatever, you need to have all that information ready and have your label ready to go. And then we can go ahead. And if you don't have that ready, I can refer you to people to get that done, and then you can come back to me for production. And then I go into a bit of a testing phase where we can do a sample batch for you and see if you're happy with the way it turned out. And then after that, then we can go into full production. And if you want to bypass the testing phase, you can do that as well, because it would save you a little bit of money doing it that way. But it's valuable to go through the testing phase to make sure that you like the consistency of the product and the flavor and whatever. So I have my own Safe Food for Canadians program. So the PCPs, I have that whole program. We're still finalizing implementing all of it, but I have all the documents. Now we're just working on actually keeping records of everything. So if you would come on board with us, then we would just implement your formulas into our system and then make sure that all the records are kept through our food safety program, which then would save you lots of time, money, and hassle where you don't have to worry about any of that. So and you can just focus on the other parts of your business. Then you don't have to worry about the food safety, and then you can sell across Canada, and the paperwork's all taken care of, and then we have all the records for the production. And then as far as like some of the things to maybe think about is like our minimums, we would do a skid as a minimum, and so that can all depend on how big your units are. So like this size of unit, if you use my exact bottle, you could actually do less than a skid because I already have the bottles. But if it's a special bottle that I need to bring in, then we'd have to do a skid, which is around 1,500 to 2,000 bottles or jars, depending on the size of the jar. And as far as lead times, like I would say give yourself time. Many people that I've had approach me, they want it now. Like they have the idea, they want it produced now. But I would say give yourself like a number of months. Like if you can give yourself 6 months would be nice. So even to do our like testing phase, to give us like 3-4 weeks for that, and then to make sure you're happy. And if we have to do another round, that could take a little while. And then to make sure your label works, and if there's anything that needs reworking, it just all takes time. And to get your label printed, there's often the lead times at the printers can be long as well. So just give yourself time. Any storage on site, so I can produce product, and then you just have to get it out of here. But I could possibly help find storage if that's needed, but we don't have any on site. It reduces your capital costs because I have all that invested here already, so you don't need to buy all the equipment. And same with the food safety program, I built that out already, so you don't need to worry about that. And then there's the knowledge. I don't know everything, but I've worked in my own business for 10 years, so I know some things about my production process, and then it saves you time, and you don't have to learn all this stuff. So if you have an idea of something you want to produce, you don't have to spend so much time learning. Food safety, the way I talked about, even just the rest of the co-packing, it can just help you focus on other parts of your business where you don't have to focus on production. You can focus on your sales and marketing and different admin stuff or whatever needs to happen. So. And then there's the regulatory side. Again, with the food safety, we have that built in place with the PCPs, the Safe Food for Canadians. We don't have HACCP or any of the SQF safety programs. We just have the PCPs. That's where we're at with our food safety levels. And then just scalability. I mean, we're fairly simple right now. We have our little filling machine here, but we're working on automating. So in the next half year or so, we'll have our semi-automated filling machine, which will just help us, and a labeler, and that'll just help us to be able to fill and process quicker. And so we can just help you scale. And so whereas if you rent a commercial kitchen, you might be pouring and filling by hand. We can just help you start small, but also be able to grow. So there's a few benefits to having a co-packer. So I just really encourage you, if you're thinking about a co-packer, just to do your research, to see what the co-packer offers. Go visit the facility, see if they have equipment that works for your product. See what kind of insurance coverage they have, and make sure you have insurance coverage to cover liability in case there's any losses or any damage, any issues with product, like who covers those losses. So you got to make sure that's covered. Make sure you're comfortable with the contracts and the non-disclosure agreements. Make sure that's in place so your formulas are kept in confidence. I just really recommend. I've worked with business development specialists through Manitoba Agriculture, and I love working with them. They're a free resource, and they've just been super helpful. They actually helped start my business, and because I had no idea where to go when I started my business, so I just reached out and found Manitoba Agriculture, and just asked them lots of questions. And they have people they can refer you to and to help as well. And so it's just been a super valuable resource for me. So hopefully you can reach out to them as well for help. And so that's all I have to say, and I'll be here for questions as well. What do I value by being a local company? I love all the connections I've been able to make, especially when I go to consumer shows, the craft shows and stuff. I love being able to see my customers face to face, and being able to, when we were able to sample, seeing them sample my product and just seeing the reaction right away, like what they like about the product or don't like, and it can just be instantly kind of affirming and gratifying that you're doing a good thing. But also I just love the sense of community too that gets created too. You build these relationships, and I find even within the food business, people help each other, or just have it's just a neat community here. So I'd say that's what I enjoy most. So I'm the owner of Gourmet Inspirations, but I also own another business called Love Local Manitoba. And we started that as an event kind of business where we had a public tasting event, and people came and bought tickets, and you could taste products all evening, but also buy products. But right now we're not running those events, but we had some retail activity that we have going on. So we have an online store at lovelocalmb.com, as well as a brick and mortar store at St. Vital Centre in Winnipeg. And then we had a seasonal pop-up in Steinbach. And so that could be a good avenue as well. If you did co-pack with me, there's a possibility, not guaranteed, but that we could probably get your product into the store as well to maybe be your first retailer to help sell your product. So, and then I have other stores across the country. I sell to about 100 different stores across Canada right now. And so I'm always open to making connections. I won't push sales for you, but I could make connections to you to different stores across the country as well. So, yeah.